Next guest on
Yes.
Mental Break
Oh, she
Podcast,
has it
Q
on.
from My Kilobody with K. Michelle on
Yes,
Lifetime
ma'am.
TV.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Q
Feel
opens up
free.
about her experience on
Okay.
Lifetime TV.
If I can't answer, I'll say plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
All right. Well, let's look at going back a little bit. I know that we had the first interview with Celine. If you could just kind of give me a little bit of that experience. You don't have to go into any details. I know we're on a short time, but just give me a little bit of relapse on that first experience that you had on K Michelle with some of your experiences.
Some of my experiences, I must say, I was nervous. I wanted to quit a few times, and I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't tell nobody my story. This is crazy. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on these people TV. But it was very nice. K Michelle was so nice. She's so pretty. Um, yeah, it was a good experience overall.
This is a pleasure to be interviewing you, and I just say let's jump right in. Um,
Okay.
but I think we're gonna start off by Q. Just tell me what you're up to. Tell me some of the exciting things that you have going on right now.
So what I've been going or been doing, basically mostly been working, of course. Work, work, work. I am a nurse, and I started my own concierge post-op business.
Okay. Um, any more details? What is that all about?
Okay, so I had this prior to me being on the K Michelle show, and it's basically you're gonna have a personal nurse that comes with you all the way, pre-op, before surgery, after surgery, when you go into surgery, and help care for you after your surgery.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at going back a little bit. I know that we had the first interview with Celine. If you could just kind of give me a little bit of that experience. You don't have to go into any details. I know we're on a short time, but just give me a little bit of relapse on that first experience that you had on K Michelle with some of your experiences.
Some of my experiences, I must say, I was nervous. I wanted to quit a few times, and I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't tell nobody my story. This is crazy. I don't know what I'm going to be doing on these people TV. But it was very nice. K Michelle was so nice. She's so pretty. Um, yeah, it was a good experience overall.
Okay. So what were some of the things that you were feeling as you had that experience that you went through?
Elaborate. Like, what do you mean?
I know you had the surgery. I know things went its way. What were some of your feelings in terms of going through that experience and things going the way it did?
Um, I was a bit fearful because I didn't know how this surgery was going to turn out, and being that when we had the talk with the doctor to tell me, like, my consultation with the doctor to tell me like what all he was going to do and how he was going to go in and take out the foreign objects that I had inside of me, it was like, yo, I don't think I want to do this. I think I might just want to live with it, deal with it, and keep life going. So it was very a bit fearful, to be honest.
Okay. So if I was talking to a young lady today that was considering this surgery, what would you tell them?
I would tell them if they did what I did years ago and got this foreign object inside of them, go ahead and do it. I don't want to say it's like any other surgery, because surgery is surgery. You will have pain after. You will, depending on who you're with, your support system. If anything, to get your health back to normal, do it. Get
Okay.
that thing out of you.
My question to you, Q, what made you want to do the reality show?
Well, my main focus on with the reality show was to get K Michelle or anybody to help me get this foreign object out of me. It wasn't more so I wanted to be on TV or I wanted to be famous or anything. I just wanted this thing out of me so bad, like years and years. And when K Michelle came with her story and wanted to help others, I was like, oh, I got to be one of those girls she helped out because of the symptoms that I was having, along with, trying to see how I was gonna get it, because it's very expensive. Like it's not a surgery like how these girls are running to Miami or DR and getting their body done. It's not cheap like that. Like this surgery is very, very, very expensive.
Okay. So for some of our listeners who um, are still asking questions in regards to how are you doing today after the surgery and after that experience, what would you tell them?
So right now, okay, a little recap of the show. So being how severe my situation was, they only did one cheek. So I still have one cheek not done. So now it's like homeostasis where my body is trying to balance. You got one side with foreign and you got one side not foreign. So I'm still having some of these pains more so on the right side that's not been done. And sometimes I have on the left side, being that it's trying to balance the, okay, you don't have it anymore. You do have it anymore.
Okay. So with that experience, I'm assuming that was it due to the cost that you didn't get both of them done, or was it more complications?
Complications. It was more of complications that I was having during the surgery.
So what's the current status of it? Is it something that you still plan on going to complete, or are there other options?
No, most definitely. I'm still working on trying to get it completed. Like I got to get this whole thing like totally out, because now I don't know if I should say I'm feeling more worse than before or the same. It's just you have your good days and you have your bad days.
Okay. What are the bad days like?
Oh man. It's more so, okay, so I'll have pain in the area of my butt and then it radiates down to my legs. And I'll have back pain where I can't stand for a long period of time. Like I have to hurry up. If I'm standing up, like say I'm at work or whatever I'm doing, if I'm standing for a long period of time, either I'm trying to lean on something to support my back, or I have to like hurry up and try to like sit down because it's very painful.
Okay. Wow. That is that sounds difficult, but you're experiencing, so it has to be even worse than I can imagine. Um, are
My
there
que-
any? Go ahead.
my question to you, Q, how are you dealing with it mentally?
Mentally, from the time I've done this until now, it's very, very depressing. Like I have my days where I get so depressed and I just work home because of course I can't stop working. I'm the only one paying these bills, but sometimes I get so closed in. I'll If you're calling me, I won't answer. I won't talk to anyone for like weeks at a time. Just stay to myself. Just, it could get very depressing and sad.
Wow.
And I could get very annoyed because of the pain that I'm going through. So at times I get very aggy and annoyed. Even my kids will tell you, like, I'll like, leave me alone, get out of my face. What do you want? And stuff like that because I'm so much in pain. I don't want to be bothered.
So I know a lot of times on mental break, we talk about the importance of taking a mental break throughout the day, just to kind of regroup and to regather yourself. How often do you think you take mental breaks?
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even answer that. I mean, when I regroup myself, I just regroup myself, and then I get back to norm, and then it's all back over again. Like I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest.
Well, do you have any support team? Are there anyone that you can talk to, or anyone else that's experiencing something similar? Any outlets do you have?
Yes, I do have a good support system. I have my daughter that I talk to all the time, especially after the show, because nobody in my family, no one, no kids, no boyfriend, no children, no mom, no dad, nobody knew that I did that. You know what I'm saying? So now that when after the show and I had a talk with my girls and my best friend was there. So yeah, I have them too where, time to time I can sit and talk to my daughter. And then I have my best friend where I can call her and then we could talk about it as well.
Okay, absolutely. I know one of the things that, as we do this podcast, and we are now really reaching out to a lot of different people, spreading inspiration and giving guidance. One of the most valuable things that I've experienced in terms of taking a mental break is that it just simply helps improve my mood. It really kind of reduces my stress, and it kind of gives me, outlets to where it takes a lot of things away and allows me to kind of refocus and regain. As I hear you say, how some of this pain, which I can only imagine, kind of puts you in certain moods and allows you to be more irritable. One of the great things about taking a mental break where you can count, and sometimes you're able to, and sometimes you're not. I know as a nurse, once you work, things kind of start going, you don't have as much time. But, whether it's a break or whether it's before or after work, that importance of taking that mental break, that importance of kind of putting aside all of whatever exists and recharging yourself is so necessary in managing and balancing your moods and how you feel. The pain is going to speak for itself, but when you balance it with taking a mental break, that's the sometimes key to helping you get through it a little better. And so I encourage you to find that mental break. For me, like for example, my day is stressful working with teenage kids that have a lot of stress and a lot of trauma. And when you hear their stories, it can have an impact on you. And so I need to sometimes take a drive, because that drive for me is how I relax and how I regain and recharge. And so I encourage you to find that something that gives you an opportunity to release some of your stress, an opportunity to recharge and be your best self if possible. Because I know pain, it's something that you can't control, but it is something that you can get through with taking a mental break. So I definitely encourage that. So just thinking about that, what are some things, some hobbies, some things that you think you can resort to? Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's reading a book, sometimes various things that people do to help them kind of recharge. Do you have any things that you know of that kind of gives you a little peace?
Sometimes I pray. Sometimes I have to call on the Lord. And there's times that, if I am off, I'll take a long drive and stuff. That kind of like helps me out too. And then if I'm just on the phone with my friend and we talk for hours, hours and hours. And she's also was on on the K Michelle show as well. And sometimes she has to like talk me down and pray with me on the phone.
Wow.
Absolutely. I probably should have mentioned prayer first, right? I mean, prayer changes things, and definitely, when you have that relationship with God, it definitely internally makes a big difference in how you manage yourself and how you deal with circumstances. So I probably should have mentioned prayer first. But I definitely resort to prayer in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's just mental. Sometimes
Right.
that quiet, that peace of mind, allows me to really open up and give myself to Christ. That allows me to recharge. And so my relationship with God is so deep to where um, it's gotten me through a lot of stressful moments, moments that when I look back to, I wonder how I got through. But I did, and I can resort it to the prayer that I put into. But then I'm surrounded by a lot of prayer worshipers,
Hmm.
and I, have learned that who you surround yourself with speaks for you, and
Right.
I know that I have a team of people that keep me in their prayers. And sometimes when I'm stressed and I just get through it, and I wonder, man, how did I get through that? What just changed? And
Right.
before I know it, I've heard from somebody that said, "Hey, you on my mind today. I just was praying for you, and I hope you're going through whatever you're going through. It worked out." And somehow it just always does. And so I definitely can probably talk for days when it comes to prayer. But the other question that I have for you is this, and that
Hmm.
is, um, when you look at your situation and you look at
Hmm.
what you're currently still going through, um, what's the best advice that you could give somebody that may not understand how serious and severe this is?
The best advice I can give someone is just be just be happy within yourself. Just love yourself, be happy with yourself. God didn't make everybody perfect. He didn't give everybody that perfect body, that perfect nose. Just be happy with yourself. Somebody out there gonna love you the way you are, if it ain't, besides God Himself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Q, you don't know how inspired I am when Selena and I have talked about um, just the various people that we meet, just the various people that we interview, and how powerful their message is for others.
Hmm.
And when you think about uh, when you look in the mirror and you see what God made. Um, Clearly, there's no perfections in all of us, but there are perfections in each of us.
Hmm.
And, when I look at you, I see a beautiful girl and
Thank
a
you.
very inspired young lady. And, the most important part of this is how people see themselves. So I totally agree with you. It's how you see yourself. It's how you strengthen your values and live off principles that allows all to grow and be inspirations to others. And I just want you to know that, you know, your story on K Michelle touched a lot of people. It was very inspirational. It probably opened the eyes to a lot of people that didn't understand and see it
Hmm.
the way you experienced it. And so, we're all thankful that you had the strength to
Hmm.
to tell your story and to give us all the knowledge and the your experience that made us all stronger. And so I want you to know that it's an inspiration, and I'm very thankful to be meeting you tonight, and even more thankful for you being having the courage to tell your story.
Okay.
But I am looking forward to what you have coming in the future, and I'm looking forward to um, seeing you on TV or seeing you, continue being a vision for us all.
Hmm.
So, I started the interview off by kind of saying what's on the future plans for you. I know nursing is a tough job. It's a job I wouldn't want to do, but but so I know it's tough, and it brings um, a lot of help to a lot of people. Um, is there anything more that you can kind of give us on what your plans are for 25 or the future?
For now, I am focused on the business, and hopefully, I'm trying to see how I can fit going back to school um in there to further my education and being a physician assistant.
Okay. Going toward a RN one day?
Huh?
So are you pursuing RN?
No, I'm already an RN. I'm gonna try to go and be a physician assistant, a PA.
A PA. Okay.
Yes, a PA.
All right. Well, again, definitely was a pleasure talking to you. You definitely in my prayers, and I look forward to seeing the great things that you're going to do going forward. Good luck with your opportunities, and education is always a plus. Um, so it was nice
Thank
meeting you.
you. You too. Thank you. It was nice meeting you as well.
Well, thank you. This is Mental Break and podcast, and we are definitely appreciative and grateful to have this opportunity to talk with Q. She is definitely a powerful inspiration to a lot of people, and again, in repeating, her strength to tell her story was more powerful to most people than she imagines. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
You all have a good night.
Thank you for being.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good.